Hello guys and welcome to your third lesson on how to create a comic strip. In this lesson we are going to make the concept art for our main character. We will begin by making the sketch for our main character. In this case is the kid named Roy. Our character must be identifiable throughout our panels and on our future comic strips. That's why you have to learn how to draw your own character and feel very comfortable while sketching. It doesn't matter if you take your time. In this lesson I want you to practice your drawing skills and style. Our character can't change from one panel to another, and just as the joke flows correctly, also our illustrations must have a good rhythm. We cannot lose the essence of the final design. Now that you have the joke of your comic, you have to think about who your main character is and what is he going to look like. Make yourself these questions so you can start picturing your sketch. I already know who my character is, so now we can start sketching some rough designs. I suggest that you do a little warm-up before sketching your character in order to feel more comfortable every time. For this step, you have to think about the physical details of the character. Is my character an adult, or maybe he's a kid? Is he tall or short, fat or skinny? How old is this character? What kind of clothes my character wears? Or maybe your character is an animal. Does he behave like a human? Does your character wear clothes, or maybe not? These questions will help you know your character a lot better, and you will define the details to portray him accurately. Answer these questions before you start sketching. It will save you a lot of time because you will already know the direction that you have to take. As you can see here, I have already begun the sketch for my main character, that is a kid named Roy. If your character is a human being, try drawing some quick portraits or full body pictures of different kinds of people. If it is an animal, look for references so you can get the correct anatomy of it. This process will generate a lot of ideas in your brain that you can apply on your final design for the character. It will also help develop your cartooning style because you will have a foundation of how a person normally looks like. You have to think about how to exaggerate some of the features of a person so you can start creating your own cartoon design. While sketching a kid, you have to think about which details will make your character look like a kid, so the audience will not confuse them. Your characters have to look like they belong in the same universe, but individually they have to look different from one to the other. For example, kids usually have big eyes, a small nose, and very messy hair, especially the boys. Kids are not very tall, and they wear very simple and comfortable clothes. Kids also like to play a lot, so maybe their clothes are a little messed up or dirty in some situations. They also have a bigger head compared to the rest of the body. This will help me define the style of my character. Now I can apply this kind of details into my character Roy, and little by little he will start looking like a kid, which is my main objective. So one of the advantages on creating a comic strip is that you can create short funny jokes or stories where people can relate to. Your audience might see themselves on your character or the situation that you are presenting. But it is also important to think about how do you identify with your own character, because if it is funny to you, it will be funny to someone else. Don't try to appeal to everyone else, make it your own and people will appreciate that. There exist a lot of comic strips nowadays, and the thing that makes those comics successful is that the creators or authors are honest. They are honest with their humor and their ideas. They don't try to appeal to every single person because we have different tastes in humor. They understand that, so they tell the jokes that makes them laugh. If you are honest with yourself and you tell the stories that you like, people will eventually approach to you and they will like your work. The audience loves when the creators are true with their art. You have to give your own unique take when creating a comic strip. This will make it stand out from other comics. If you take a look at Roy now, you may have noticed that I'd given him a cool pair of shorts, a simple nice t-shirt, and a pair of sneakers. I decided to keep the outfit simple because when we were little kids, at least in my case, we used to wear simple pieces of clothing, most of it because our parents were the ones deciding which clothes we were going to use. You can relate now with my character because maybe it reminded you of a little kid you may know, or maybe the simple outfit that he's wearing. We have to take advantage of this kind of details so our audience will know immediately that our main character is in fact a little kid. So try these things on your own design. Try to think how to make your character relatable, interesting, and funny. We have now a very good sketch of the main character. We have a very good foundation of how he is going to look throughout our comic strip. This sketch will work just fine. We can identify it easily and it has the right amount of detail. Remember that in this step, we are planning our character, so don't be afraid to go back on your design and redraw some things. Make all the necessary changes that your design requires until you are satisfied with your result. I will also do a quick cleanup of my sketch so you can appreciate better my design. In this section I just created a new layer and draw on top of my sketch. This is not the inking phase, so it doesn't matter how I draw the lines. My objective here is just to have a more clean sketch before starting my next step. For this cleanup section, I just put the original sketch with an opacity and started drawing a new layer on top. I am using a black color so you can appreciate this process better. Also, on this cleanup, you can modify some parts of the sketch to make your character look better than the original. It is very important that every once in a while you do a cleanup of your character because sometimes when we are drawing we lose some of the important lines. It doesn't matter if after you do your cleanup you continue sketching on top of it, just make sure that you reach the final design that you are looking for. Feel free to go back and forward while sketching. Remember to add new ideas and if they work, keep them. If they don't, just erase them and start over. The objective is for you to reach your final design. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Now that we have our sketch clean, we are going to draw some expression for our character. This will help us know it a little bit more. We are going to pick some key expressions that are going to be displayed throughout the comic strip. For example, in my comic strip, the main expressions that I will use are serious, explaining intensely, and disappointed or defeated. I will start by sketching the head of my character and then duplicate it so we can work on top of those drawings. Here I am duplicating the head of my character so I can have my expressions on a single layer. I am also naming the layers for each expression that I will be drawing. This is just to keep my file organized and I can edit them separately and I won't get lost. I will start by drawing first my serious expression, which is actually just my character listening to what the teacher has to say. In this expression, Roy is not mad, he is just paying attention. This expression will help know how my character behaves, and I can use them as a guide while drawing the comic strip. I am also taking the opportunity to fix the head a little bit so it won't look all cropped out badly. I know that my character has very simple elements on his face. We just have two round eyes, a nose, a small mouth, but even though they look so simple, I can play a lot with this face to achieve very interesting expressions. Here I am just showing to you the three most important. Now I am going to draw the expression when Roy is talking to the teacher. In this expression, Roy is not shouting, he is just giving the teacher an excuse, so he looks a little bit intense. We are going to draw a very basic shape for the mouth and the eyes are going to be wide open. On this expression, the most important thing is the mouth. I have to make sure that the mouth has the right size. I don't want it to be shouting, because that would need a more intense expression. Roy is just explaining his point. He's just giving an excuse. He is not engaging on a discussion. That's why I keep the mouth on a decent size. And then for the final expression, we are going to give him a look of defeat. The teacher knew that Roy was giving a poor excuse. In this expression, Roy has to look defeated because he thought that he was going to fool the teacher, but inside he knew the teacher was not going to believe him. One good tip that you can do is to look for some references. If you are having trouble on an expression, you can do a quick search on the internet and see different types of cartoony expressions that might help you. Also, you can use a mirror and act in a specific expression and copy directly on your character. Now Roy looks defeated, but with a little bit of release, like if he didn't care about what the teacher had to say. These are going to be my main expressions. With this step, we completed the character design of our comic strip. Be sure to draw your character as many times as you need to get used to your own design. This is the end of this lesson. If you have any doubts or concerns, please let me know. Remember to practice your character design and be patient with your drawing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.